How's everybody doing today? This is Justin with Cowpoke Leather Co. Today I'm going to kind of be going through one of my tooling patterns that I just drew up today on a knife sheath. This is going to be the one. Just kind of go through the steps and all the different tools and kind of how I use the tools, and we'll just go through that. So kind of one of the first things you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go ahead and get your leather wet. I just use a little spray bottle. Get it good and moist, about like that. And then once I get it wet, kind of let it sit there for a couple seconds, get that water absorbed into the leather. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go through, use our swivel knife, go ahead and cut out our pattern real quick. Okay, so now we've got it all cut out. I'm gonna go ahead. Still got pretty good water content in it. So you can do a couple different things here. You can use a smooth beveler. You can use a checkered beveler. Kind of whatever you prefer. On this one, I'm probably gonna do a checkered beveler around the outsides here, and then on the interior stuff I'll probably use a smooth beveler. So go ahead and grab our maul here. We'll just take this checkered beveler all the way around the outside real quick. Alright, so we used that checkered beveler, kind of went around the outside of it. Kind of gives it a nice contrast, since, you know, we're going to leave all the rest of this stuff smooth. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our smooth beveler and we're going to go in, do all the interior stuff. And that's going to really start helping define, make it more three-dimensional, give it that depth, and make the different layers really pop. Kind of whenever you get towards the end of the line, you kind of want to taper off, and that way it kind of has a nice fade to it. And I've got just a heavy piece of metal. I think it's part of like a hub puller that I use. I cleaned up the bottom, painted it, just kind of get it smooth so that way it doesn't scratch up the leather, but it kind of helps hold my piece, because these smaller pieces are kind of hard to keep a handle on whenever you're tooling and moving around. So we're just going to go ahead and finish beveling all the rest of that for right now. Alright, so now whenever you've got it all beveled out, it should look something like this. I'm gonna go ahead and do my flower center. This is one of the tools I'm gonna be using. This one I want to say I got from Springfield Leather Company in a pack. Just go ahead and tap that in like that. So now where we're gonna go from here is we're gonna start our backgrounding. So kind of in all these empty spots in between our vine work and stuff, we're gonna start getting that tooled in. So I'll just be using a checkered backgrounder. Kind of hard to see there, but, and just kind of go in here. So that's about what it's gonna look like. And you know, we still got spots all around the flowers and stuff that we got to do that too. So that's just gonna kind of help give it a little bit more pop, make it a little bit more three-dimensional. So now that we've got all the backgrounding and the beveling done, what we're gonna do is we're gonna come in with a pear shader. This one's got vertical lines on it. You can use smooth, checkered, horizontal lines. It doesn't really matter, just kind of depends on what kind of style you're looking for. I got this one off of Springfield Leather as well. It's a real good tool. I've been using it for a while now. But we're gonna come in here and start adding some depth to the flowers. Since these are smaller flowers, I'm gonna be using the narrower end. And then, you know, if my finger's the leather, I'm gonna be running it kind of at an angle like that. So that way I'm not getting just the shape of the tool on there. That way I can angle it like this, and I can really kind of move along the shape of the petal without it just being a flat, straight, long line. So let's see, how do we want to do this? So we'll start here. And sometimes I start on the inside of the flower, sometimes I start on the outside of the flower petal. Right now we'll start on the outside. But you just kind of want to come off of the edge a little bit. And then that first one you want to get nailed in there good, and then you'll just kind of tap it and follow the line and lighten up as you get towards the center of the flower. And then that's going to give you the dimension on those petals. So this being a knife sheath, I'm only using 5 to 6 ounce. This is some Herman oak. So I mean, you don't want to be beating on it too hard, because you could run the risk of actually punching through the leather. But that kind of gives us some dimension on our flower petals. We're going to do the same thing on the vine work too, just to kind of try and give it a little bit of dimension and detail. And for this one, I used the bigger end of the pear shader. Let's see here. Just because it's a little bit bigger and it kind of goes better with it. So that just kind of adds some detail to it. Here on the leaf, I'm gonna take the bigger end and right along our bevel lines. They're pretty harsh, so I'm just gonna kind of put it in there at an angle just to try and smooth that out a little bit more, just so that way our bevel lines aren't so harsh. And up towards the tip, be real light, and kind of as you go back, you can get a little bit heavier with your taps. And whenever I do it, I keep it pointed straight out from the stem, so as I'm going along, I'm kind of turning it, just so that way it's following the curvature of the stem on the leaf. And then I'll do the same thing down here on this folded part on the leaf. I'm gonna keep it straight out, so as I go through, I'll be turning the tool to match that contour. And then we're gonna I'm gonna use the narrower end on this one right here. Just to give it a little bit more dimension, detail. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to some decorative cuts. So we'll go back to our swivel knife, and we'll just kind of come in here, add some little cuts like that, just to give it a little bit more detail. Now we're going to come into our flower, do the same thing, just give it some I don't really get too crazy with it, just a little something to make it look nice. And I try to keep them matched with the curvature of the flower petals, so this one's kind of more sticking straight out, so it's going to have a little bit more straight lines versus like this one right here, it kind of goes at a curve. So we'll kind of want to curve those lines to kind of match that contour. This one again is another straight one, so we'll just kind of do a little bit straighter lines on that one. And then that kind of gives you just a little bit more detail, kind of makes the flower pop a little bit more. For the leaf, you can come in with a veiner stamp, and what you'll want to do is you're gonna take and you're gonna angle it like that, and then you kind of want to turn it just to match like the contour of stem. A little something like that, and then you can come in and throw a little decorative cut along the leaves if you wanted to as well. Not really any hard and fast rules on that, just kind of whatever you're feeling, whatever you think will look good. I've got this stamp too that I use. I got it from Springfield Leather as well. It's like a mule's foot, and it's got a couple behind it, so I use it a lot, like on the vine work and stuff like that, just to add like a little extra. But that's how I tool my floral, and this is one of my patterns that I've drawn up. It'll be up on my Etsy store, so if y'all end up buying it and not real sure where to begin on how to tool it, here's a little video of how I do it. Y'all have a good day.